Hi guys, all you need is a different coloured pen and your work from the Aquifers lesson, and that's all we're going to need for today's mini short little feedback session. Good morning, Year 8. What I just want to do with you today is give you a quick little bit of feedback on the aquifer question that I set on the work for the first lesson last week. Now what's happening is the aquifer, this big underground store of water, okay, it's having all the water taken from it, and they've overused it, which means it's really hard to get the water that remains. It's really deep underground. So I'm just going to model how I thought about how I'd answer this question to sort of show you how we develop our ideas, how we develop our answers to really hit the top levels and to really show off your thoughts. So we start with the first sentence. If the aquifer is overused, it is harder and more expensive to extract the water. This means it's more expensive to produce/grow the crops. Then these costs will be added on for consumers. So if it's expensive to get the water out, okay, that's going to mean that the cost of the final product goes up. Okay, so we could draw a little arrow there, couldn't we? That's a rubbish arrow, I concede. Now, this means some people may go hungry because they can't afford to buy the same amount of food as they used to. So if you increase the cost, okay, not everybody's wage is going to go up. Therefore, people might not be able to eat. It could mean people have to change their diets and they would buy cheaper foodstuffs, i.e. they may buy imported food. You might buy food from a different country because it's cheaper, because they've got different rules about how to grow it. Or it could mean that less demand impacts the farmers and they could be forced to close their farms. So all of these little issues come about by the fact that the aquifer and we're overusing the water. Now let's look at this last section down here on the next slide. So on this slide, we've got three different ideas and three boxes are going to come in, okay, as I talk you through them. So this means that some people may go hungry because they can't afford to buy the same amount as they used to. This leads to a decreased standard of living. People's lives get worse. If you're used to eating a meat-rich diet and it's what you like and you like a variety of vegetables, but because the cost of the meat goes up and you can't afford that, well, that means your standard of living may go down, or the cost of the vegetables go up. Okay, your standard of living may go down. Now, let me just explain that meat idea there. So, a lot of the crops that are grown, okay, the reason they're growing all the crops is to feed animals. Okay, and therefore, if the cost of the food that you need to feed the animals goes up, the cost of the meat you eventually get goes up. Okay. Now, the second point, we've done that one. It could mean that people have to change their diets and they will buy cheaper foodstuffs. Now, this one's really important at the minute. If a country has to rely on food imports, then this could cause issues if something happens to their supplier. Now, about 10 weeks ago, when this crisis that sort of got us off school started, there was a real backlog and a real hold-up for being able to move stuff around the world. Now, because everything's connected, it didn't create too much of a problem. But if a country, okay, was so reliant on other countries bringing in the food, okay, this could have really dangerous impacts on if a crisis or something different happens. If, say, America gets loads of its imports from China, okay, you know, China grow lots of crops, say. In fact, no, that's a bad example. Let's think about if Iran, this is a real example. Iran get a lot of their food from different countries around the world. Now, Iran has fallen out with America and other countries, so other countries can't send their food to Iran, which means Iran and the Iranian people are struggling because they can't get the food. Okay, if they were self-sufficient, if they grew enough themselves, that wouldn't be a problem, but they don't. Okay, because they can't, and therefore it creates problems. Our third and final point: less demand will impact the farmers, and they could be forced to close their farms. So if they close their farms, this could create problems in the cities. For the farmers who live in that high plains region down the centre of America, they could be forced to leave, and they're going to end up in the cities. Okay, they could be forced to migrate to the cities looking for jobs. This could cause, there might not be enough housing in the cities, or there might not be enough services there. So this creates another problem. So as what I'm hoping you can see is, what is one simple issue of overusing the water can create all these other knock-on effects. And that's what geography is all about, thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about how the whole world is connected and how one impact can develop and have all these different legs. Now, if you want to write down these ideas in your book, that'd be a great idea. That's your feedback for this week. Well done. I'll see you all soon.